Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the News Behind the News with Ralph Tav on Mix 94.7 FM, and thank you for joining me on today's program. It's been quite an interesting lineup, I would say, of persons that we've had featured on the program this week, and especially, with persons coming from the field of arts. And we do have yet another individual here with us, someone, who has been pretty good at reinventing himself, and that is none other than Big Dano, a music artist formerly known as Gilda.
Yes, formerly known as Little Cent.
Yeah, that too.
You feel me? What's going on? Thank you for having me here, man. It's a blessing to be here, you know what I mean? Big shout out to all your listeners, all the viewers. Big shout out to you as well for putting this together. I feel like this is something important for the culture and for St. Martin, especially young St. Martiners to watch, and they could learn a lot from people that they never even know did this, or they learn a lot of information about the island itself. So big shout out to yourself for putting this together, man. It's much needed.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. And so I'm glad to have you. One of the things I always like to do is keep an eye out for all this Martin talent. Fortunately, sometimes we have quite a bit of them who are away, like yourself. So when they're back on vacation, I just try to
catch us quick, boy.
Catch y'all quick, because y'all
let
be
let them come back first and we're gone again. You know what I mean?
enjoying the island as tourists and stuff. But so gotta bring you in to do a little work
for sure.
So yeah, to start off, man, just could you tell us a bit about yourself, and in particular, what led you to become a music artist? Why does music mean so much to you?
Well, let me start with the why, right? Because the why is always important. So for your viewers and everybody who watch this could get a good understanding. So growing up, everybody know my father is Spoonie. My father, Spoonie, used to he used to be a part of a band called Impact Band, which is a legendary old school band here on the island. And so I grew up around music, you know what I mean? I grew up around going by the band house with my father. The band house used to be there by Cats back in the days. Chuck used to pack up in Cats parking lot and thing. And, I grew up around Calypso. I used to be a part of a group called Kiro Stars and thing like that back in the days. So I grew up around the Calypso, the soca music and all that stuff, the Carnival music. And I always from then knew I wanted to do something in music, right? So the reason why I went into it is because of that, because I always was around it. And then shout out to Lady Grace, the legend, Lady Grace.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
I was super younger, my father had an old Cherokee park up in the yard. Like, it never used to drive, but the radio used to work. So on Saturdays, I used to be sitting on in the Cherokee, hot Jack Spaniels flying around me and thing, but I listening to Lady Grace. And just hearing like the countdown that she used to do, I used to tell myself, but I could make songs and be on that countdown stuff. I could do that. So the roots of my father having a Carnival truck just embraced me, or give me a appreciation for music. You understand? Because to be in a band back in the days like that, like these days you got DJs on a truck.
Yeah.
Back then you had to have brass. Like if it was a brass, you had like 3-man playing horn, a bass, a guitarist, and that. So I grew up around musicians. So that gave me an appreciation for it. It's just that little did I know, my appreciation wouldn't be calypso or soca. It would be hip hop, because hip hop was the rebellious music. You understand? And I used to love that. It's like, wow, these man saying what they want, and is F this, F that. We do what we want. I was like, I rocking with this. This is what I could do. My father used to hate it. I ain't gonna lie. He was like, he tried so hard to like get me into the band culture, but I was like, I ain't got time for that. Like,
And did you ever? But even though you had the interest in hip hop and stuff, did you ever still play drums, etc.?
Well, yeah, my mom, I think my mother and my father put me in piano. Shout out to Mr. Guns one time, but I didn't last in it.
Mr. Guns from Max School?
Yeah,
oh.
From Max School. Yeah, the music teacher from back then. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Guns,
yeah, he lived right there, Illich Road. Back then, I would admit I didn't have a lot of patience with none. You know what I mean? And rap was something that I was immediately good at. So I was like, we want to learn a goddamn piano. We want to learn to read music. Well, I would never use this. Like in rap, you just have to write words that rhyme. You know what I mean? And that was the whole thing. Little did I know, fast forward.
That it actually would
have helped
sharpen
if I could have played an instrument, because then like when I in the studio with producers, like it would be easier for me to help co-produce things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
But pick up on certain things.
Exactly. Which I still co-produce because I've been around music. I could
you got to air.
You got to air. So I could know what it is. But if I know how to play it, it would be a lot better. So to fast forward to the original question, that's the why. The why was just because I grew up around music. You know what I mean? As far as for who I am, government name is Devon. Everybody know me as Devon. Went to academy. Energetic guy, very charismatic. introverted. As extroverted as I may seem online, I'm very introverted to myself. And, you know, I'm a guy that's just searching, that's just trying to figure it out. And as cliche as it sounds, I'm literally searching because I used to feel like in life it was all about we got to get to this place, wherever that place is, right? Wherever the goal may be, we got to get there. We got to get $1 million by 28. Got to go do this, that. But then as I get older, it's like, oh, that don't mean nothing. It's the journey that matter. You know what I'm saying? So when anybody will be like to tell me about yourself, I'm like, yo, I'm just a guy that's trying to figure out like everybody else. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's the best part of it. So yeah, man, that's who I am for the introduction. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Simple
so
things.
I like how you responded because it really ties into my next question.
You see? I media trained, you know. I doing these interviews since I'm 15, you know.
Yeah, literally, right?
Literally.
So the next question is, you know, what were the different stages of Devon and how did it impact the music you created?
All right. So the different stages of me as like Devon, the actual person, which is crazy because I only figure out who I was during the pandemic. During the pandemic.
It's part of the journey?
Yeah. And that was when I was 30, 29. So for all them young kids, whoever watching this, like, don't try to figure out life. Don't think because you're 22 and you got it together that life is over.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a house by then. And
Screw all that. That's not how life works, okay?
Yeah.
But I think I read a book where they say Oprah made her first million when she was 40-something.
Yeah,
Something like 2 Chainz had his first #1 album when he was damn near pushing end of 30 going 40. So it's like, take your time. Anyways, the stages of Devon, literally growing up, you know, I literally didn't know who I was. Like it tied into music like this. From 15, I was rapping.
Yeah.
My first popular song that was on like Laser, and back in then it was Loud and Loving It, was at 15, 16 years old. And that was when Lil Cent was there. So my whole life tied into a character of, you know, this is who I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But because I didn't know who I am personally, I tie it into, okay, well then Lil Cent is who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that affected me because I used to carry the persona of a rapper and thought that was reality.
Yeah,
you feel me?
Gotcha.
And I would treat people messed up, or I would just be arrogant or cocky and stuff like that. I would think it's normal because I'm like, but this is just me when I was playing a character the whole time. Yeah. It's kind of like how Will Smith said he was playing a character his whole life.
Yeah, and that's tough, huh?
It is, and that's why I feel him when he said it. I was like, bro, I understand because. And then right after Lil Cent was Gilda, which shout out to G Money, he gave me that name in New York. When we went to New York on a trip, G Money gave me that name because. He was like, yeah, you know, we need to find a more original name for you than Lil Cent. I was like, I feel you. And he was like, yeah, 55 cents Gilda. I was like, that's great. That's great. But shout out to G. And then, so right after that Lil Cent thing, Gilda kick in. So now I had to take on a whole other persona now. It's like, okay, now I teens, 20s.
Yeah.
Right? And then, no, that's a whole other persona. And again, Devon's still in the background. I suppressing him because he got issues that I ain't trying to dig up.
Yeah.
He got daddy issues. He got validation issues. He got, you know what I mean, brother never really wanted him around issues. He got all them type of issues. He ain't want trying to dig up. So I can leave he back there.
Yeah.
Again, Gilda no step forward. Gilda was a little way more enlightened than Lil Cent. He used to treat people a lot better. And it affected the music because if anybody, and I meet a couple people here who run into me and they was like telling me about Exchange Rate, my first album I ever dropped when I was like 16, and they was like, yo, you from back then I listening to you, and if you listen to the music you can hear the maturity in what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. And shout out to my mother, she always used to tell me, you meant to rap uplifting things, but back then when you're younger, that's good, I can rap what I want.
Yeah.
But now I rap
you want to be part of the rebel.
Yeah, the rebel, you know what I mean? And you're following a trend. You know no better. Yeah. Especially on this island. Everything is a trend. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And then it becomes so competitive for that same identity or title.
Exactly. Yeah. So the music evolved as my names changed. And then now where we at this stage, which I'm sure we're gonna talk about a little later, now we are Big Dano, it is basically Devon. Because now I'm comfortable with putting Devon here and be like, okay, no, you take the lead. And this is where I feel like I really gonna make it, because back then I was portraying characters that I couldn't put my soul behind. Now I portray myself, and I feel like that's where a lot of people gonna connect, because the upcoming music is very vulnerable, it's very deep, it touches a lot of topics that I feel is very important. And man, so that's how it affected at the stages as it go on. You know, like Devon was in the background for most of the time, but now thanks to the pandemic, that sit everybody down.
Yeah.
I decided to go to therapy during the pandemic.
Even the earth needed that pause.
Oh man, you see how the oceans clear up.
Yep, correct.
And you know what the thing is? Humans is like, nah, we see it, but we going back to right same thing. I'm like, well, slam an asteroid in this place because I don't know, we don't deserve it. But yeah, man, that's the stages. That's definitely the stages.
Gotcha. So so while you spoke about your father, Lady Grace, being in that music
Shout
environment.
Shout out to Lady Grace for real. OG.
That's for sure. Who were, so I'm curious as well, who were the persons that you looked up to as well, particularly the rap, on the rap scene on the island.
Yeah. Okay, first I gotta start with Outcast. Shout out DJ Outcast, because he's the one that discovered me. Yeah, he come when I had win the talent show in Academy all them years ago with Woodson. Rest in peace, Woodson. One time. Yeah. He was one of the judges. You understand? And then we win, and then come to find out Outcast was good friends with my brother Wayne. And then Wayne was like, yo, I got a younger brother who could rap. Like, you should come check him out. And then Outcast pull up by the house. Back then, he used to drive that Corolla with them rims on it. And he pull up to the house. Say, check in. Okay, I come out, say, my boxers. Yeah, young kid. I start rapping for him. And he said, wow, that was horrible. Like, you should not rap. I was like, okay, I go show you. And then I rap somewhere else at the show. And he was like, that was the same dude. I was like, all right, sucker, yo. So we're good. So then he take me in and, put me in his studio. And that's how that starts. So Outcast is definitely one. K-Dot. You know what I mean? Shout out K-Dot, the whole Smokehouse. That's still family to life, like for life to this day, Smokehouse for life. Versatile. I ain't gonna call him Versatile, not King Verse. We talking about old school.
Yeah, back in the day.
Shout out to Versa Tweezy, you know what I mean? You had Nonchalant. You had Bandit. You had CAP, Underground Rebel. Shout out Triller. Devil, back then it was what he was called. Odyssey, I gotta give Odyssey the props, because you know what I mean, because back then talent was more competitive and it was more to the forefront.
It really was. Yes,
it was more to the forefront. Yeah. So like when we had talent shows back then, I talking talent shows that was on the harbor. I talking talent shows the harbor, the ones that was in K Hill. Like back then when a talent show was coming, you used to practice for months to go up there on that stage. And I had a young kid, so I on a stage with K-Dot and all these man
who have like really
more established and
honed
stuff
their craft.
That. Exactly. But I was rap all them. So so it's like, I don't know, back then it was like more preachers. So I used to look up to them, you know what I'm saying? Because they was the ones there before me, and I always give shout out to Duncan, DVH. He gave me my first award. Like, to this day, like I always tell him, like, yo, you a legend, like, for that. Like Duncan was DVH was the Beat Street on 102.7, I think it was. He was the first one to actually take local music and put it on a platform and actually reward local rappers and singers for what it does do. You know what I'm saying? And people don't give me props, but I gotta give me props. So Duncan is one of the people I was looking up to back then as well. And nowadays you don't have that no more. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the, like, I'm just talking about rap, right? You don't have the culture for people who want to rap anymore, because I mean, rightfully so, you never had nobody that make it, whatever make it is, because make it is subjective. You never had somebody that make it big on that level. So then people can go where the money is. That's why you have soca music so big now. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Them the OGs.
So I think somebody had rapped that for the hottest on the rock. Was it rappers turned soca artists?
Yeah. Rappers turned soca singers.
That was it.
That was funny though, because everybody would be like, but Gilla, Dano, when you gonna do a song? You don't do a soca song. I'm like, bro, I produced Beat the Monkey and I wrote it and I'm on it. There's your soca song. Like, and it's still one of the biggest soca songs to this day on the island. So it's there, you know what I mean? But hey, everybody gonna do what they gotta do to survive. So
for sure.
Can't hate on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Ain't for me though. I'm a rapper. I ain't got time for that. Right?
Well, again, leading to my next question.
See, I hope I see this.
Which was it? What was it like competing and being afforded opportunities back then that makes it different compared to today? So, I guess, if you could go detail more, because listen, for example, I remember you see some of the talent shows used to be on cable TV.
Yep.
While we are in this social media age, as particularly when it comes to rap, local hip hop, the local hip hop scene, it was really different. I find that it
was very different. It was very different. Like back then, competing, I had to operate smart, because everybody know my other big brother is Michael Granger, And Michael Granger was the one showing the talent shows.
Yeah.
So I never entered a talent show. I only performed for Youth Extravaganza, or like I would perform for the talent show, but not as a competitor for the prize. Because in my head I was like, yeah, everybody can just say I win because.
Yeah.
And me as a rapper, as an artist, because there's a difference between a rapper and an artist. Let's just start that. But for me as an artist,
Yeah.
my competitive nature comes from, you don't have to like me, but when you hear what I could do, you're gonna respect it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give you no excuse to say he ain't what he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why back then when I was competing, I would only put songs on the radio. That was the way I used to compete. And even that was hard because Michael Granger loud and loving it. You know what I'm saying? Laser 101.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to Laser 101 too. That's a great relationship for life there. So I used to just put out songs on the radio where everybody else would be like in the shows and doing back and forth in competitions. I'm like, ain't back in time for that. I can just make sure you hear me 24/7. You understand?
Gotcha.
Because the show is one night. Laser 101 is every day. That's how I was thinking. 102.7 is every day. So I would just put out music all the time for those countdowns. Back then you had countdowns on 1-2, Laser and all that type of stuff. Outkast had I forget what it called, but he had a local show too back then. Even that, again, I had to maneuver it because Outkast my DJ. So it's like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to give nobody no excuse for them to be like, oh, he only there because of such and such. No, I hear because... You
wanted your work to speak for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's how I used to compete back then. I used to compete with my mind because I'm like, okay, realistically, all these man talking about stuff I don't know about. They talking about street stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, that's cool. I can't rap about that. So I can use my mind. So instead of trying to compete with them one-on-one, I would compete with them to where they can't get rid of me. You know what I'm saying? And it was always like, and I always had the advantage of being short and very skinny. So it's like, who this little short, skinny boy with this big head rapping? But then when I rapped, they was like, whoa. Okay, you know what I mean? And I spend hours, bro. Hours, I talking late nights. And this is what people don't understand. These young rappers here don't get. This is not put on auto-tune, make a song that sound like the States and you're there. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
There's a place for it, but there's 1,000 other people in the States doing that.
Yeah.
And this is what
they have that first come, first serve advantage because they are over States.
There. And then you got on the other thing. You got to think when you put out a song, and we're gonna launch about. I promise I'm gonna bring it back. We have this thing here nowadays where they don't understand that when you do music like that, you placing yourself in a saturated market.
Yes.
Right. When you go on Spotify to try to get your song playlisted and you submit it, Spotify can overlook your song because it's like, oh, well, we have 1,000 of those. Like, why would we put you when we could just put Young Thug? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's certain level of originality from where you from you got to do. So then people be like, okay, well, we can just rap in the accent. That's cool. But how do you rap in the accent? You can rap pure St. Martin rap accent, which is fine, but just know it's only down here you can stay. Because America don't understand it and Europe for sure don't understand it.
So that goes into the artistry.
The artistry.
Who is your target audience?
Who is the target audience? How do you articulate your words? How well can you blend your accent to be articulate enough for people who don't even speak English to understand?
Yeah.
That is the key.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people missing it. You understand? Yeah. And that goes back to my point. Bringing it back. I spend hours 3:00 in the morning. We just moved there recently. My mother showed me notebooks and my old lyric books.
Wow.
Stacks. I used to write for hours, 3:00, 4:00 in the morning. I would never put out a sound, but I just want to write. Because I would be like, why I can't make that word fit in this sentence? No, I can figure it out. I can try to break down the word and put it in. And that's why I really take pride in flow. Because my flow, I could make anything flow and fit. Because I spend hours practicing it.
Yeah.
And then with your flow become that, then your articulation can become well because now you know how to say words in a certain pocket properly. And then you could use the pocket to bounce the word for it to flow. This is rap here. This is the bounce, this is the word.
Yeah.
So it's how you bounce it. So is a lot, man. I could go hours and hours into it, but I just feel like, this is a craft and you got to take this seriously.
And that's it, because I really appreciated the I forget the name of it, but Netflix had put out a docuseries on
about
hip-hop.
the hip-hop.
I
was in heaven.
Especially the eras, the
how they come up in the times.
Correct.
How when hip-hop
and
first
the different course, it was amazing.
Man.
Because today, like I always say, my favorite rapper is Nas.
Good
my favorite
choice.
artist is Kanye.
Very good two
you know,
choices.
because especially with the part of like we explained about your flow. You know, Kanye, I find, have one of the best abilities, you know, to break the rules and make it work.
Exactly.
You know, when it comes to
he's disruption.
Yeah.
But he's beautiful disruption. Because he's the chaos that you see coming. You're like, this might not work, and it's like, oh, it worked. You know what I'm saying?
you can't duplicate it just so.
No, you can't. And even with his beats, like he does use certain synths that you would never think to use. It sounds like distorted, but the way he
like that Jesus album, you know, it was ahead of its time.
Yes, it was. Kanye is a genius. I would love to I wouldn't even want to work on anything. I just want to be in the room.
Yeah, and watch him put together.
Watch it. And then I think that alone would just be $1 million worth of education. Because to see somebody like that who would say, oh, this song that nobody does use, watch me use it.
There you go. Yeah.
And then make a hit. It's like, nah, that's different.
Because, and what I appreciate is, and that's the beauty of hip hop for me. You know, there's certain elements of what I don't like, but overall, the art I think is powerful.
Yep.
Because again, it came out of that, you know, the rebellion of youth, but in a positive way. You know, not just we want to burn down society. Like no, when you listen to, for example, Ice Cube, KRS-One, old Ice Cube. You know, and you understand
Queen Latifah, UNITY, who you calling her?
Correct. You know, when you look at the social circumstances and you know what that birthed the music, then you got to love it.
Of course,
you know,
that is why hip hop changed, because when it was based in struggle is when you get positive music, because we're struggling. Not that everybody got money, you get. Everybody got money.
Yeah.
I got this. I could get this girl. I could buy this car. I wear this Louis belt. I got this. So it's like, it's nothing. It used to be food for the soul.
Yeah.
Now it's just food for the ego.
Yeah. And then that too, because of, you know, that part of, like we were discussing on air about American society, that, you know, capitalist drive where, you know, record, because before it was rejected by a lot of the record companies and stuff, until they realized,
never used to play hip hop.
Until they realized, like, hey, we could bank off of these guys.
Yeah, we could make some money off these black folks. That's cool.
Yeah, those 360 deals and contracts and stuff.
Oh, gotta love them.
You know, I think that's why it's so important, even like artists here, even though they haven't, well, let me not say haven't, you know, the concept of making it, you know, we haven't seen some artists, you know, some artists be there. Let's say like a Rihanna, like, you know, Barbados has a Rihanna, whatever.
Nicki,
Trinidad is claim, you know, Nicki.
Yeah, they claim Nicki. They was like, that's ours.
But you know, the thing
Dominican Republic got Cardi.
Yeah,
you know
and the thing is but knowing the industry, and it's because even though, you know, let's say you're not in Hollywood, it still matters no matter where you are, as far as your masters, as far as you know, copyright,
knowing your business, knowing the business of it,
and building a brand off of it, because you know you can, like that saying, you know, think global, act local.
Yeah, and that's why I like that interview with Shanti as well, because Shanti was breaking down the contract stuff, and I know because she went, the study she did, that was the first study I was doing, but I switched. So I know where she get her knowledge from. And when she was breaking it down, I was like, yo, listen to her. Because I always tell people to this day, first of all, me and Shanti had that song Dance together years ago.
Okay.
Years ago. Shout out to Tito Beats, he made the beat. But to see now that she's a multi-platinum songwriter, nobody from Samara can say that.
Yeah.
And I tell her that, I was like, Shanti, nobody can tell you
But a lot of people didn't even know.
Yeah,
that's a whole
that's how it is. Like, you know what man is, bro. Until you blow up and make it, and everybody can be like, I always remember, I knew you couldn't do it. No, you didn't. Stop it. You don't know about them nights when I was struggling. You know about them nights when, in her case, take flights all the way to Korea, South Korea, to do this. And now she's a multi-platinum songwriter. So when they say nobody from here make it, Shanti make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna give her the props, but I can say it. Shanti definitely make it. D-Colors make it. D-Colors got songwriting credits for Pitbull and all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would even say I make it. I perform at festivals and host festivals for thousands of people. Had the St. Martin flag on the front of the stage.
But the key is in what the key is in what do you want?
Exactly.
Why? Like,
what is make it?
Correct.
Yeah, it's very subjective. But hey, everybody down here gotta know what they on. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. Now, so in addition to that, you know what we just discussed, you left, you know, to study and so forth. You moved to the Netherlands. Why there in particular? Why, you know, why didn't you consider the US? Maybe that would have been
that was actually a funny story. I'll give it to you. So in high school, shout out to Miss Rosenblatt. You don't know Miss Rosenblatt. I don't know if you can ever see this or hear this, but I was one of my favorite teachers. I never used to go to her class. So it was a Dutch class, right? In academy. And I used to hate Dutch. Like in academy, you couldn't pay me to go to a Dutch class. To the point where Mr. Hussein just give up or just see me outside and be like, all right, whatever. Like, here's whatever today, you know what I mean? And I used to tell Miss Rosenblatt all the time, I'll never go. I remember she had that big map of Holland in her class. I used to point to the map and say, let's see that place. I'll never go to that place. That place is trash. And da-da-da-da-da. I used to, boy, boom, no, graduate academy. Try the working thing, you know, and I was like, I can't do it. Like, I really can't do it. Like, the way that anyways, that's a whole different story. So, can't do it.
I understand.
Yeah. So then, boom, my grandmother had put in for me to get my green card. Like, say around, let's see if we're looking at a year calendar. Say January, the green card come true. July, September, I was in Holland. Because it was like, okay, I got the green card, which I think I still have it now. I don't even know. I didn't see a green card in a while. And then coming down to it, when I start to compare tuition,
there you go, money.
I was like, why go in America to owe them this much when I could go Holland and do saying 60% is loan, 40% is a grant? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, then last minute, me and my best friend Sean, we don't move like a unit. Like, me and him was supposed to go states together, Florida. I was supposed to go to SAE Institute. But again, money.
Yeah.
So last minute, we literally watched each other. It was literally like this. And this is like May-ish. Here you go, Amsterdam now. All right, cool. Switch up everything. Went online, Dicky Day, boom, bam. Went study, find a school, boom, find a straight Holland.
And that was it.
That was it. None of us can speak Dutch, but we in Holland. You know what I'm saying? Complete culture shock. And now fast forward, I could say like, I don't like Holland or the Netherlands. Let me stop saying that because it's North Holland and South Holland. But I don't like Holland, but I love Amsterdam. Like Amsterdam is, I would send my kids to Amsterdam. That's how much I love that city. So yeah, I went up there. That's how that come about. It was just like a very last split minute decision to be like, yo, screw states, let me go Holland, and we figure it out. And we figured it out. And I'm here for 11 years now.
Wow. Yeah, time flies.
Yeah, time flying a lot.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but yeah, it is what it is.
Cool. So we'll take a quick break and then we'll be right back with more on that. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the News Behind the News with Raf Tav on Mix 94.7 FM. And this afternoon, I'm joined with Big Dano. I want to say Gilda.
Yeah, formerly known as Gilda. I have to upgrade the currency to cryptocurrency.
Mr. Devon, artist, rapper, as we're talking about the music industry and the field of rap in particular.
Yeah.
But so as you said before the break, moving to the Netherlands, which really wasn't a choice, but falling in love with Amsterdam.
Yes, sir.
Basically, one of the things I'm curious about was, for you, what would you say were the most challenging things, and how did you overcome it? So
in
circumstances,
Holland? In the Netherlands.
And then, adapting to it being part of your heart, in a sense.
I always say, like, my story, the Netherlands, because everybody got a different story living in the Netherlands, right? You hear some man kids go up there and lose their goddamn mind, and have to end up coming back down here, and then you hear some man kids going up there and never coming back, starting families and stuff. My story of Holland, I always say, is a lot easier than the regular story. I'm not naive to know that a lot of my friends up there have it difficult. I was blessed and fortunate enough to move up there with my best friend to live with my other, like, my father figure. So it was 3 of us. So we never really struggled for housing.
You wasn't lonely.
We wasn't lonely. I was with my partners all the time. I was in Amsterdam. Like, we was outside. Like, it was never a struggle per se. I would say the biggest struggle, and this is why I tell, like, I had a talk with a young partner there the other day, self, who going up Holland, I think next month. I was like, the biggest struggle you have, what I didn't understand, is how mentally strong you gotta be to understand that mommy and daddy ain't close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the cultural difference was the biggest struggle, right? So whereas, for example, and it may not seem like a big thing, but it does add up. So for example, you come from an island where everybody say good morning. No matter where you be. You're walking and still good morning. Come on. You don't even have to know nobody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Holland, they don't do that.
Yeah.
You come from an island where, as a man, you taught to open doors for a woman and let them go in first. Holland man pushing woman aside to go in first. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, you come from a place where obviously it's 30 degrees all year round.
Yeah.
And then you go to a place where it's night 9 months out of 12. You know what I'm saying?
And then extreme heat.
And then extreme heat in the summer,
Yeah.
but then extreme cold in the winter. So, and winter depression is real. Like, it's a real thing. Like, I just still catch it sometimes. And I up there 11 years. When the winter time comes, because we are melanated beings, we're melanated people. We are meant to be in the sun.
Correct.
To be connected with Mother Nature and the earth. We are meant to have our slippers off and feet down in the dirt so we could like detoxify our body through the magnetic pull from the gravity and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Which you could do in Holland, some could say, but in Holland, no, because it's cold. You're always wearing shoes.
But it
and
makes
all
a
that.
difference, especially in the land of your birth. That's why they even recommend to always eat fruits in their season.
Exactly.
You know, food that you eat should be food that is grown
in the season.
You know, and in your territory, in your land.
Exactly, because the energy and nutrients and from
far different.
Exactly, and in Holland, they're growing the fruits in grow houses. So when you eat that fruit, it tastes like cardboard. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest challenge, is the cultural difference. And how, would I call it rude? How do we describe Dutch people? I wouldn't call it rude. I used to think they were rude, but they're just very...
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like naively blunt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even that too, you got to get used to, because then... Again, we come from the quote-unquote friendly island to a place where people just blunt, and trains don't, when is the train say come in 2031, the train gone, the conductor ain't stopping for you. He will watch you running and close the door in your face. So that is the biggest challenge. It's just the cultural thing. But if you're mentally strong enough and you prepare yourself and don't just come to Holland, look at me in the camera, guys. Do not just come to Holland because you want to escape mommy and daddy. Come to Holland with a plan. Okay.
So again, you're going into my next question, right? Because I
tried to tell our
because
viewers.
I was just gonna ask you.
We on it, you know.
You know, what advice we give to parents and students. You know, especially we're in the season where quite a bit of students are gearing up to leave.
Yeah.
So go right ahead.
For the students, it's just that. Just prepare yourself for the culture shock. Be mentally prepared. And I mean, nothing can really prepare you until you get there and you get your first boota for no reason. And you're like, God.
Oh, you mean I'm fine?
I'm fine, yeah. Sorry for the Dutch, everybody. But you get your first fine for no reason. That's when they're going to really hit you. And the mommy and daddy ain't there to help pay it. And you got to pay them 300 euros.
Which means you got to readjust your budget.
But you done by the latest Jordans, so now you ain't got no money.
So that's the next thing too.
And then, okay, well, I'm going to put it off till next month. But then next month, because you didn't pay it, they add on it. And they're going to keep adding on it.
Please go in detail on that.
And they keep adding on it.
Especially with the budgeting pack. Because I know you're big on financial literacy right now. I think that is so essential for all students too.
Yeah, for being financial literate and just know how to budget. The thing is, right, Holland is easy if you just go up there and don't do stupidness and pay them on time. Like the Dutch don't care or not. Just give them the money when they want it. And just stay out of stupidness. Don't take a credit card.
So that's political advice too?
Yeah. Don't take a credit card if you need it. Don't buy the latest Jordans if you can't afford it. That's another thing I tell people. If you can't buy it twice, don't buy it. You can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? If you cannot buy those 200 euro Jordans twice, why are you buying it? Just buy a normal pair of feelers. It's fine. Like, especially in Holland, nobody, like in St. Martin, you know, we have this culture thing where people could wash the jeans and be like, hey, but you wear that jeans last week?
Yeah.
Yes, I wear it last week. It's my jeans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Holland, nobody looking at what you're wearing. They up there in the dirtiest shoes, like people walking, people going somewhere, people got stuff to do. There's drive and purpose in Holland. So don't be wasting your money on that. Find a market to buy your food, people. Stay away from the supermarkets as much as possible. Wherever you live, find out a local market and because the food and stuff there are cheaper. The slagerij, the butcher, the meat is cheaper, the fruits is cheaper, all that type of stuff.
Nice.
For parents, I don't know what advice to give you. I honestly, God, I don't know what to tell you, because at the end of the day, that is something I always say. Moving to Holland is something your child. That's when you're gonna become a man or a woman. Holland will make you or break you. There is no in between. There's zero in between. It's either you come Holland and you do what you have to do and you get it, or you come Holland and you screw up and you're back in St. Martin broken.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of examples like that.
Yeah, you check.
So and I've had I think I'm going on almost 200 interviews now.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of them, went to Holland, but I always like to hear people share that experience.
Yeah.
I think it's good to always repeat it, because you're right, and we've seen so many examples of that, and it's good when people do, to alert others and give some wisdom.
Exactly.
And encourage those up there, just to keep at it.
Exactly.
And you can, because there are people who have really made it in a hole, but they climbed out of it.
Exactly. And I know people that dig themselves in a hole and climb out. But the thing is, and another thing too, advice for the students, okay? Don't be afraid to fail. A lot of kids that go to Holland, and if they fail at one thing, the whole world crumble. It's like, oh, I'm such a failure. I come up here and I ain't getting what. I switched my study. Like, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? I was in debt before. It's fine. Like, you're going to make these mistakes because, again, mommy and daddy is 8 hours away.
Yeah.
On a very expensive flight.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to make these because you know you're turning into an adult.
Yeah.
Now you're on you literally
There's
on your own.
that personal development aspect is essential.
It's essential. So don't be afraid to fail, but that don't mean you're running to failure. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, correct.
Don't be afraid to try and fail, but I don't mean la 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 boop hit your head, la 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 boop. Don't do that.
Yeah.
If you
be cognizant of where you're going, the steps that you're taking.
And at the end of the day, the Netherlands is the infrastructure. It's set up for you to win. That's why I just don't understand it. Like, Holland has give you so much. Even if you owe them money, they'll be like, okay, pay us 20 euros a month. That's all we asking you for. You could pay it off. Pay 20 euros. You need a laptop? You can't afford 1,700. How much you're making? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Based on your bank account and your income or whatever, you could pay us 100 euros a month and just pay it off. Look, the laptop. Like, Holland has set you up to succeed, you know. Like, it's...
But the key thing is responsibility, being responsible. You
got to be responsible.
So I think that's the main thing, the underlying thing.
That's why I say in the beginning, don't come to the Netherlands if you're trying to get it from your parents. You're going to fail.
Yeah, because freedom is not free.
Freedom is not free, especially in Holland.
The cost of freedom is responsibility.
They're cheap, so everything costs in Holland. They want their money on time.
Even if it's a cent.
If it's a cent. I had a Dutch girl tell me she want back 75 cents. I was like, I'll give you a euro. Because it sounded like you needed more. Like 75 cents.
Yeah, you know, like, because we have that thing where, you know, it's like, you go to the shop, you know, buy something, like, you're short, I just buy it for you.
And I'll just buy it for you. You got $2 change? Man, hold it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold it 20 is fine. You know what I mean? Like, not up there. They want it
back.
10 cents they want it back.
So I guess they should be champions of reparations, probably.
Let's not get into that, shall we? Shout out to all the Dutch viewers and listeners. You feel me? You know how you are.
But one of the things to going back to you and the music is, you know, now you're in a different environment. How did that shape your artistry in terms of, you know, the themes or topics you discuss, but then also developing a network? Because that's all, like, because we talked about, you know, the mental aspect of it, the studenthood, you know, of being an artist, but no, the business side, especially with creating a network, making use of resources that are available to you. So you can go in detail on that too.
Yeah, sure. So one thing is, when you're on St. Maarten, if you do music on St. Maarten, it's easy for your ego to become so inflated that you feel like you don't have to do nothing. Because the ceiling on St. Maarten is very low. You get a popular song and laser 101, that's it. I'm sorry, guys. That's just literally it. You do a couple shows, that's just what it is, right? And you're there. And I used to think when I was in St. Maarten doing music that I was the hottest thing since sliced bread. Like, nobody better than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still feel that way naturally as an artist. Like, and I'm a hip hop artist. It's a competitive genre. So I always gonna feel like I'm the best. But when I moved to the Netherlands, that knocked me like at least 10 stools down. Because and I always say this, if you're really serious about music, you have to leave Holland, St. Maarten. You have to. You have to.
Why is that?
Because that's when you're going to see what the standard is and what it takes to be great. You understand? St. Maarten, you wouldn't see that because St. Maarten have a lot of... It's small, number one. And this is not a knock to St. Maarten. This is just reality, right? It's a small island. Half the island's your cousins. All your cousins going to say you're dope. Okay, cool. Get them out of the way. Then you're going to have the people like, yeah, man, now we want, you know what I mean? I know you from St. Mark's school days. They're going to say you're dope. So now... what is the barometer? Then you have your yes men around you that no, you can't do nothing wrong. You know what I mean? So you could put out the trashiest of trash, but nobody gonna dare tell you that it's bad. And if you tell him that it's bad, you're bringing down the local man, and well, at least he's doing something positive. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm an artist, bro. Like, this is music. If you can't take a criticism like that, you can't go sit down in front of P. Diddy and play with them when he rip you to shreds. You know what I'm saying?
Or you just walk out or something.
You feel me? So when I moved to Holland now, that showed me like the levels of work ethic. It showed me that my work ethic is definitely lacking, and I really feel so to this day. Like, compared to the artists I know up there who in the studio every day, they don't even have to make a song. As long as they make a half a song, they're good. I don't go to the studio unless I have a song to do because I feel like that's wasting my time. Like, but they in the studio every day. So the work ethic, it shows you the discipline of what it takes to be on that level. It shows you the preparation that it would take. Like, shout out to Amarty, my big brother. Amarty, boom, boom. Shout out to Barano, Kwesi, all my Ghanaian brothers up there. Being around them, like when Amarty have a show, he is preparing a month in advance with the band. The same songs over and over and over and learning cues and doing this. And then when I went on the tour with him, the festival tour, when we perform at the festivals, and I perform with a live band and I see the cues and what it takes, and then like just the whole structure of it of being an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that what the Netherlands show me. And then as far as connection wise, like I said, I big up them man and thing. I meet Kwesi. Now, because I met Kwesi years ago, now the biggest studio in Amsterdam, Cruise Control Studios, we just go there to record. Like people gotta pay thousands to go in there and record, but because me and him is cool, you know what I'm saying? Like I just go there to record for free. You know what I'm saying? So you get those connections, you get radio connections. I was Amsterdam Artist of the Week twice on Phonics Radio.
That's dope.
But that's because the program director and me is like this. You know what I'm saying? And then shout out to Wax Fiend and Prime. I cannot stress it more. Shout out to Wax Fiend and Prime. When they made Encore, the biggest hip hop party in Holland to this day, and then Wax Fiend have Jam Rock, they had something called Encore Freshman. That's when I was in the competition. I had to ask them to vote for me and stuff. That opened a lot of doors too, because it showed me again the preparation to do this, because it was like you have to make a song, 2 songs to submit on the spot. Like, okay, like on the spot now. Like we in the studio, Red Bull studio in Amsterdam, we have to make the songs on the spot. So that just show you like it teaches you that. And then Prime put me in position to host events. Like, so Encore Amsterdam, the club night would be, but I would be the MC to like control the crowd. What I would do with that is I never used to look at it as, oh, I controlling the crowd. I used to study. I used to be like, okay, what beat works? What beats get the crowd to do this? What beats get the crowd to do this? And I would always have my phone on record, and then I would send it to J Mello and be like, yo, we need a beat like this. Yo, we need to make a beat like this. We need a song like this. Because I was always constantly studying. So when you go abroad, and I was telling artists, if you look at all the artists here who made it, Red Eye Crew, they went abroad. They perform all over the place. Shanti, South Korea. D-Colors, he gone abroad. Me, abroad. Dr. Rum, abroad. Like, you have to go abroad. It's just, it is not hating on St. Maarten. It's just the reality of it. If you want to take this artist thing seriously, if you want to push yourself to that next level where it ain't only your boys telling you you're good and then you do a little show there in EXO or wherever and you get a nice little woo, you have to go abroad, because not only will you learn a lot, but you're going to learn what you're not. And then when you learn what you're not, you know what you have to do to be who you want to be. And you don't learn that here. You only learn that if you go abroad. States, Holland, wherever, whichever is your cup of tea. I prefer Europe because me personally, based on living there for 11 years, I see that Europe in general have more of an appreciation for hip-hop than the States. Now, I'll say that again. Hip-hop. All the old school KRS One always in Amsterdam. Like I met him. Like he always there. He always booked in Europe,
London,
in Europe, and because they love hip hop. Nas go over there, sold out. You understand? And if you saying something worth it, they gonna rock with you.
Yeah, because I think it's a cultural difference.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, and having, although it wasn't long, but having lived in America, bro.
That's to show you. Y'all, that's to show you. It wasn't long and he done shaking his head like, I haven't to live in America.
I am thankful for Mac School. I'm thankful for Academy. Very, very much. Yo, we do a good job.
Wow.
We can do better.
We could do a lot better.
But listen, in comparison, bro.
To the States?
When you,
Well, you was in Florida. Let's just be real. Florida is not a real place. They say serious. They say Maarten ain't a real place. Florida is not a real place, bro.
That you could throw that into, but still, I totally get what you're saying.
But to wrap up on the last thing we were talking about, I always just tell this story. I was in class in college, and I had this. I forget his name, but it was like a white Dutch dude, old, 60s. You know what I'm saying? And when he found out I was an artist, he's like, "What music you do?" I was like, "I do hip hop rap." He was like, "Oh yeah." He started rapping NWA lyrics, Tupac lyrics, KRS One lyrics, and I like, what is a 60-something year? I asked him. I said, "No offense, Meneer, but back then you live in Holland. It's pretty racist. What you know about this music?" He was like, honestly. He was like, Tupac saved my life.
Wow.
like what the rappers was talking about back then, the rebel, it spoke to the rebel in me. So that's to show you, like, over in Europe, they have a way bigger appreciation for artistry, to be an actual artist and do something.
Because they don't have that consumer drive that the US has. And that is the issue, that huge consumer drive that, in a sense, dumb-downs things.
Exactly.
And make it commonplace.
Make it commonplace. It's like, oh, just put in the microwave, press 30 seconds, and whatever come out, we give it to the people. They can buy it anyways, because they that's what they used to. You know what I'm saying?
Bread and circus.
You know how we go.
Bread and circus. So, to just realize the time, so definitely have to end on, new music that you have coming out. The rebranding, as Big Dano.
Yes, sir.
Can you detail that more? Big Dano, as you shared in the beginning, bringing Devon to the forefront, introducing him to the world for real now. What can people expect, and how do you view, some of your upcoming work?
Yeah, so what people could expect is just truth, honesty, vulnerability, relatability. I don't even know if that's a word. Relatable. There we go. Relatable. That's what they could expect. It's just a level of, oh, okay, yeah, I understand what he's saying, and I relate. And the Big Dano thing, that change happened because I felt like I couldn't take Gilda to where I needed to go. Because again, I didn't make Gilda. G-Money give it to me. You know what I'm saying? And it just catch on. So I can't put my spirit of who I am behind it. And Big Dano is short for Cardano, which is my favorite cryptocurrency. And that name was given to me as well, but it was given to me after, I teach people about Cardano, and one of my white Dutch friends make like 15,000, and he was like, yo, use Big Dano, dog. Like, you should continue teaching this. And I went to the studio one day and I mentioned it. And then from there, Maarten was like, Dano, what's going on, Big Dano? I'm like, oh, okay, this is a thing. So then I wasn't going to change it, but then when I Google search if there's any artist in the world that have that name, nobody does. And
but I think, sorry to cut you off there, but I think it's brilliant too, in a sense of, we know that crypto ain't going nowhere
at all. It's here to stay. So sorry for all those old folks who wanted to go. It's not going anywhere.
So like, you already see the changes, like the crypto stadium,
crypto.com arena, correct. LA Staples Center.
So your early
adopter of crypto,
exactly,
of course,
and I think doing that with artistry is pretty brilliant.
Of course, because I always tell people cryptocurrency is like, imagine if you knew what Amazon was going to be before Amazon, but you knew it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. So, and I also had the privilege to be on a Twitter space with the creator of creator of Cardano, Charles Hoskinson, and I got his permission to use the name Big Dano personally. He was like, yeah, it's an open source platform, so you could use it. He was like, you could even use the logo if you want. So I was like, he's like, anybody could use it. So I say, okay, cool, I could use the name Big Dano. And then that's where that come from. And I feel like I feel more empowered behind that name than Gilda than I ever did with Gilda. You know what I'm saying? Because with Gilda, I felt restrained. It's like, oh, Gilda, okay, that's cute. It's tied to St. Maarten. Again, not dissing St. Maarten, but I want to be a worldwide artist. Why Gilda? Oh, it's a play off of the currency back home. Gilda. It's so corny. Like, but Big Dano, there's the story. Now I give you a story, and I tell you it tie into who I be, and it can tie into the music. And now for the music that coming out, we got song dropping. I wish I had it out before the interview, because but engineers take their time. And the new music, I say, is vulnerability. It's truth. It's provocative. Not to give out too much song, but I have a song in there about colorism that I feel like people are gonna really be like, oh, okay. Then the way I do it, because I'm a student of the game, so I listen to the Kendricks and the Nas's and the Cordays and the Waynes and the way they do storytelling. This goes back to what you call Scarface them back in the days, how they used to storytell. And then you had D Block with Sheik Luch and Jada and Styles, how they used to storytell. And you had Eminem and Dr. Dre, how they used to storytell. And so that song is like a storytelling song where one half of it is the older me and how he was a colorist, and the second verse is the new me talking to the older me.
Gotcha.
You feel me?
Okay.
It's very, man, listen, I gonna make it. I feel 100% that by make it, I mean I gonna be a star. Because I'm empowered now. I got a team, I got a branding, everything is good to go. The music is on a different level, the beats is on a different level. I'm full control of whatever I'm doing, and I could throw my weight behind it. So change ain't a bad thing, guys. Sometimes, women are doing it to cut off their hair when they feel a little down, and then they a new one. So I had to change my name. I had to change my name to be a new man. So it is what it is, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I can always represent where I'm from. Like, there's one thing nobody can say. Like, in Holland, when it comes to, like, putting St. Maarten on the map, I put St. Maarten on the proverbial map. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in Amsterdam know about St. Maarten now because of me. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go Encore, you see that St. Maarten flag. When we had an Encore festival, I remember that year, and the minister, Rolando, was the director of tourism, and the tourist office sponsored it up there. Big stage. Mr. Vegas, Christopher Martin, all left, Steph London, St. Maarten flags everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So we doing what we got to do. I can always carry 721 on my back, but it's a worldwide artist thing. You know what I mean? And that's what the goal is. And that's for everybody out here, down here, who doing music. You got to think worldwide. And it starts from when you write a song. No, when you write, you have to write with intention. So now when I do music, we in the age of TikTok. We in the age of Reels. So when I'm in the studio, when a beat playing, I'm like, yo, put this here in a certain way that people could use it to do TikTok videos with.
The best 15 seconds.
Yes, the best 15 seconds. And then I would say something in a way that people could use it in a video. The first single of the EP that coming out, you can hear it. The first 4 lines is TikTok. Like, it's instantly TikTok. But because you
gotta adapt with the game. Yeah.
And you gotta write with attention. You gotta write to be worldwide. So
for sure,
that's what it is, man. We outside, Big Dano. You know what I'm saying? This is the change. This is what gonna go down. And yeah, man, great things coming. Great things coming. I can't wait. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying?
Good to hear that.
I'm excited. You feel me?
Well, I would like to thank you so much, man, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, dog.
Thank you for sharing your insights and your story. And to our listeners and viewers, I also hope that this was one that inspired and motivated you, as well as some of the gems that were dropped. You feel me? Make use of them, of course.
For the students, them, and for the artists.
So thanks for listening, and be sure to join us again. Take care.